our allergies so much that we're all canceled. But I
We had a few people cancel today.
yes,
About
I just,
3 or 4. Is Mel gonna make it? Mel canceled too?
Mel canceled, so he can't be our Toastmaster.
Kathleen.
Kathleen emailed me this morning that she's been sent to an SCO meeting downtown that only ends right at noon, so she said there's no way that she's gonna get here in time. And then I just checked my cell phone. I never turn it on during office hours, but before the meeting I turn it on, and there's a message from Maria saying that she's not coming into work today, so she's sorry she can't be here.
Brian can't make it. He has a training. He's in training.
Who's Brian?
Brian Lynch.
He's in CPR training, learning how to save lives. So, but hey, with these able bodies here, we'll be able to give a full meeting. And Kathy has graciously accepted standing in for Brian, so she'll be evaluating David's wonderful speech today. Everything will go just great. Speaking of great things, let us arise and give the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Stand a little taller today, say it a little prouder. We've had quite a couple of weeks. God bless America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm trying to learn the new way, Lieutenant.
Old habits hard to break.
I know. You know what? Next meeting, I'm going to have you give me a run through before I stand up here. Because you're right about being habits. It is just like a script. Yay! We even have an inspirational thought, but before we get to that, our greatest inspiration is always our members and our guests. I would like to welcome back Monica Henby, who is from OHR. Well, I'd like to let you know something. Capital Captivators, I am pleased to announce that Monica is officially a Capital Captivator member. She has joined our ranks. But she did so under special circumstances.
But you put the screws to her.
You turned me loose from
Well, my family comes from Boston, so I decided that certain tactics are allowed when you have an extreme situation. Monica prefers to come as a guest. She's still observing. So even though she's a member, I told her Toastmasters International promises you can go at your own pace. So she will not be doing table topics, and she will let us know when she is ready for the roles for table topics to do a speech.
But so, you don't mind you being a timer?
She'll have to be trained. She hasn't signed up for her mentor yet.
So I get to pick a mentor?
Yes, you do. We get to pick a mentor because, yeah, these things don't come to you when you sleep at night through the Sandman. We need to have somebody show you in the manual where it talks about the role that you're performing and then help you do a run through before you're thrown to live action during a meeting. And we'd be glad to do that. Yay. That said, we have a guest with us also, Andrea. Andrea, thank you so much. I think Andrea has the kind of personality that just fits in with us here at Capital Captivators because we're all very creative and all very kind and generous people. Andrea certainly strikes me that way. And the same should go for her. She was a guest, so let's not ask her to participate unless you raise your hand and you would like to do a table topic or participate in any way. Just observe and see what this is all about today.
So I'm not doing any table topics, so they'll run away from that.
Jay, you've given an icebreaker, and since the ice has been broken, yes, we will call on you. I will. Just like we're calling on Lieutenant right now. Inspirational thought, Lieutenant.
All right. Do we want to just, thank you very much, Avis. Do we want to adjust the roles, or are we okay with the roles? The way we have them?
I think we're okay with it.
All right. All right. I'm going to close the door if you guys don't mind.
Don't mind at all.
Okay, so inspirational thought today. What is the difference between a motivator
and a a sergeant?
What's the difference between a motivator
And a supervisor.
and a spectator?
Uh,
What is the difference between a go-getter and a bench setter? I'll tell you the
couch
difference.
potato.
Would you like to go? No? I'll tell you, since I'm gonna tell you here, 1 second. As soon as I remember what I'm talking about here. Okay, the difference is that a go-getter is a leader. Leaders are the people that say, it's 2 seconds. The other team has the ball, and send me in, coach, to get the ball back. A go-getter is that person that says, no one else wants to do this job. I'll do it because it's my time and my turn to shine. A leader is a person that steps up and will say, I don't see excuses as to why we shouldn't do it. A leader steps up and says, why not? Thank you.
Very much. Whew. Always calling us to action in those subliminal ways. Thank you, Lieutenant. I am serving as your Toastmaster today with Mel's absence, and I'm very glad to do that. One of my favorite tasks is to introduce the person who will be giving us some humor for today. Today's joke master is also our speaker, David. David, come on up. Thank you.
Thank you. So a Scotsman is driving down the road and all of a sudden just smash right into the back of a car. He gets out and he meets this nice Englishman and he apologizes and and as they're talking about the collision that just happened, Scotsman says, "Well, you're so nice. Can I buy you a drink?" And the Englishman says, "Well, why, yes, thank you. I'd love a drink right about now. It's been a crappy day. Our cars are smashed. Sure, you can give me a drink." And so the Scotsman gives him a drink, and as they are talking, the Scotsman notices the drink is getting low, and he says, "Well, can I get you another drink?" And the Englishman says, Sure. But you haven't had one yet." And he says, "Well, I'm going to wait till after the police arrive."
As soon as you said Scotsman, I knew we were headed in that direction. Very nice. I like it. Let's be strategic leaders. Well, so Lieutenant and David, thank you for heading us in some very wise directions. Our grammarian today is none other than Kathy, and Kathy has graciously posted the word of the day. The word is gander. It is a noun. It means to look or a look. It's also known for being a male goose.
We won't use that one today unless you want to.
A
Could be
male
fun.
goose.
Okay.
Okay, all right. A gander is a look. Let's take a gander. Let's take a gander at it.
Right.
Let's take a look at it. Sentence. We all took a gander at the new Toastmaster who came to his first meeting today. Very nice. Please recall that when we do get to the table topics portion of the meeting, we want to use the word gander in our speaking. Should be easy. Timer today is Lieutenant. Lieutenant will be timing the speech as well as the table topics portion of the meeting. Our first speech today, it comes from David. Evaluating his speech will be Kathy. Kathy now has the manual and the speech objectives.
Yes, speech is Project 8, get comfortable with visual aids. So David will be using a visual aid with his speech.
Great. He's close to the end also because
Yes.
the manual, when we sign up to be Toastmasters, only has 10 speeches, so he's on 8. He's getting close to earning his Competent Communicator Award.
So we'll
Also
just be,
getting close to 2 years.
Yes, yay! It's all beautiful.
we'll be looking to see how well he uses the visual aids, if they're appropriate for his message and for the audience, if he displays his items correctly with ease and confidence. This speech is
can I change the timing
Yes.
constraints to 8 to 10 minutes, please?
8 to 10 minutes, and the title of your speech.
National Consumer Protection Week.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
Okay, David, I'll give you the green at 8 and yellow at 9 and the red at 10.
Thank you very much.
So what
Perfect.
is your timing constraint on the,
No, it should be 5 to
5 to
7.
7. It's
oh,
five to
okay,
s-
so you,
And he's going 8 to 10.
so he gets some extra credit for that because it's.
No.
No. It's just that I will most likely go over 7 minutes.
And it's
I
okay to
hear
adjust
you.
your time if you know you're gonna
I
go
always
long.
Oh, okay, sorry.
David is also preparing for a speech that he needs to give for DCA. So if that's the amount of time it takes, it's going to help him to be ready for giving a presentation during National Consumer Protection Week. So, National Consumer Protection Week, David Bouye. David Bouye, National Consumer Protection Week. Woo!
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think. Okay,
You can move that podium if you like, if it's in your
Yeah.
way.
isn't it a lectern?
It is. Mary, please take note.
I think it's fine where it is.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
That's fair, that's fair. So, National Consumer Protection Week actually just passed. National Consumer Protection Week is at the beginning of March every year, and it is something that I have been presenting for DCA for a couple of years now. National Consumer Protection Week is presented, or not presented, but promoted by the Federal Trade Commission, and the Federal Trade Commission, and they do an excellent job of organizing it on a national level. This past year, DCA presented at the North Natomas Library, and it went very well. I have truncated this one for you guys because normally it's about a 40-minute speech. So welcome. I'm here to talk to you about the Department of Consumer Affairs and our mission. Basically, we do two things. We protect consumers and we license professionals. The department helps manage about 2.3 million licenses in more than 100 business categories. And that spans, 100 businesses and about business types and 200 professional categories. That spans basically all the accountants, the automotive repair guys, your cosmetologist, your person who cuts your hair, the one who does your nails, all your doctors, your nurses, and even all the secondary educational schools like Bryant and ITT Tech. We regulate all those guys and many, many more. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Bureau of Security and Investigative Services. Basically, locksmith companies and alarm companies and security guards. I can talk to you about phone, email, and other consumer topics if we have time, but that's if we have time. So, today, the common locksmith scam. The common locksmith scam is a typical bait and switch scam where it happens mostly to commercial entities and people who are planning ahead for needing a locksmith at their house. So it doesn't really apply to the people who just lock themselves out of their car, or the people who just forgot their keys and can't get back in the house. But typically how the scam works is you will have somebody call up, and if they're being a good consumer and following the advice that we promote, they'll call 2 or 3 or 4 locksmiths, and they'll say, "Hey, can I get a quote for for changing the locks at the following address. And they'll speak with the person, they'll get a quote, and quite frequently, about half of the quotes they get are going to be a little bit lower than the other half of the quotes. If you don't already know, almost 80% of all advertising in the Yellow Pages and internet paid ads for locksmiths comes from unlicensed locksmiths. And it's a big problem that we deal with, and our guys have so much work, they will never be done with it. But as time has gone on, we've started to deal with more and more elaborate and sophisticated unlicensed locksmiths. They've gone to the point of setting up competing companies with each other. They, you might call ABC Locksmith for one quote, and you might call XYZ Locksmith for the other quote, and think that you're talking to two separate companies, and they could very well be the same company. DCA has made an arrest on someone who was operating 56 different companies and had that many different phone lines. And it all rang to about 3 or 4 people, and they had this wonderful way of ensuring that incoming calls were recognized and routed to different people. So if they saw that the phone number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was calling, that phone number would first speak to Mary and then would speak to Zach. And Mary would be representing ABC and Zach would be representing XYZ. I mean, really amazing stuff. Technology has allowed us to do wonderful things, except for, in this case, it's to scam customers. And how the scam would culminate is, someone might give a quote of $200, someone might give a quote of, $150, and then there's that one quote that came in at, oh, we can do it for $45. We'll come out for $75. And, Mr. Joe Consumer says, well, of course, I'm going with that one, right? All of a sudden, they get the person there, they see how everything's working, and the door is all apart, and the locksmith turns around and says, this is not how you described it on the phone. This is not going to be $45. And will about face and become this high pressure salesman and start saying, this is going to be $550. And with the door unlocked and everything right there, all the pieces out, we'll start pressuring the person into getting out their checkbook or paying in cash. Usually they avoid credit cards because those are more traceable, although we've seen it happen. And they'll just really, really crank on the pressure. Then, when someone's written out their check, they'll do up the door, they'll walk away with the check, and they will run to the bank to cash that before anybody tries to do a stop payment on the check. Which, by the way, stop payments, does anyone remember when a stop payment used to be permanent? Does anyone know that they're not permanent now? If you put a stop payment on a check, it is only good for a maximum of 13 months according to the federal government. And most banks have a policy that say 11 to 12 months. So, when you stop payment, you will have to renew that payment every year. Because if someone like this gets a hold of their stop payment, they may hold on to that check for the next 14 months and then go to the bank again. And if your account is still open, you're going to get a withdrawal. So, what happens next? The consumer comes in, the consumer calls us, they say, hey, something didn't feel right about that, and we say, well, did you check their license? We say, say, well, no. I called like 4 or 5 of them. Say, well, sorry, that person's unlicensed is typically the response that we are forced to give. Sometimes that person is licensed and we can work with them on getting them help, but more often than not, when they run into that scam, that person is unlicensed. And so, one of the important things I'm going to remind you is always check the license. If you're calling during the day and you're preparing to have a locksmith come out and do the work, you can give us a call. You can go to BSIS and you can get the work, you can get the person verified. The alarm company scam is very similar. How the alarm company scam works is someone will come to your door as a high-pressure salesman, usually unlicensed, but will be representing a licensed company, which in the case of alarm companies, both the person and the company need to be licensed. But typically a lot of these larger companies that operate outside of California, they'll just hire somebody for minimum wage to walk door to door and sell alarm company systems. And they will work to get you to sign a contract before you have time to read everything. And the point of that is, once you sign that contract, you are beholden to them, even if you already have a contract in place with another alarm company. So you can actually be beholden to 2 alarm companies at the same time. So, what do we recommend? Verify the license. You can always give us a call, 8 to 5 or 8 to 4:45, or you can check it out on the internet. If you go to bsis.ca.gov, they put it all the way here in the corner. But this is where you can check the license during the time that we are not open. And I had the telemarketing stuff in there. I meant to take that out, but thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, David. Always great to know how to protect ourselves and be alert to what's happening in the marketplace. Oh, and I love the birds. They're beautiful. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Andrea. I hope to see you again sometime. We'll email you the agenda when we have another meeting in case you do want to come visit us. Thanks. You too. Bye. Bye-bye. Kathy will take a few minutes to write down her evaluation for David.